Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, the Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
So y'all, I was having a conversation at work earlier, and one of my coworkers was talking about ending a relationship, and it made me ponder when is like the right time to end a relationship. And so as we were having a conversation, what I told her was, I always felt like the perfect time, that sounds terrible, the right time to leave, no, the right time is the perfect time. Let's say what it is. The perfect time to leave is when you feel like you have grown to a certain place and the relationship is not growing with you. I feel like, it's okay to walk away then, or say, okay, this is no longer what I want or what I desire or serving the place that it used to serve to me. That's how I've always felt. It's like, once, because I feel like it's a way for it to be mutual and also be very peaceful. Like, it doesn't have to be a traumatic, toxic thing. Like, we can both just acknowledge, like, all right, we grow at different paths and at different speeds. We can have a conversation about, well, this is what I'm thinking, or this is what I'm thinking. And then if they don't align, we can just say, I'm happy with what we had, and also I can enjoy what we're going to have furthermore, and then we're going to walk away from this peacefully.
It's interesting you say that, because you made me think about, I had to cut off a family member, right? And so it took years and years and years for me to do it, because my whole thought process was like, this is family. You gotta love your family no matter what. That hasn't changed. The love has not changed. I'm always going to be there, with them. Maybe not physically, but I'm there with them. But it really took a lot for me to recognize that their energy wasn't in alignment with my energy. And when I say that, not coming from a judgmental place, but it was just, they were draining. And I recognized that every time I tried to help them, or every time I tried to, put myself in their shoes, I tried so many things, and it just seemed like it wasn't working for me. So I was like, you know what? Let me just fall on back. And I did. And it took a while for me to completely fall back, but when I did, it was like I felt that peace. But not in I didn't cut off the relationship in a negative sense. I still love them, but I just did it for myself.
Let me ask you, when people say they cut off somebody, what does that mean?
I mean,
what does that entail? Cutting somebody off?
I mean, I think it just all depends on how you see what a cutoff is.
Okay.
So for me, a cutoff is like, I can cut off conversation with you. I can cut off your access to me. Because I think sometimes people think cut off is like automatically nothing else to do with you at all. I mean, you might have to deal with the person. You can't sit back and cut off your employee at work that well, it's not your employee, but your coworker that you deal with at work, So it's like drawing a boundary. I guess that's what
Yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking too. You're redefining what your boundary was. So if it was like, well, we used to do this and we used to hang out, if I cut you off, then we ain't hanging out no more. And when I see you, it ain't no more adapt. Now it might just be a pound. You change the degrees of things on the cutoff.
But what about relationship-wise, like romantic-wise? What you guys think?
Well, for me, I answer both questions. Both things we discussed. For me, like a romantic cutoff, I gotta go all the way away for some reason. I know what it is. It is easy for me to get caught and stuck in the thoughts of what I think my desires are, but that's never my higher self, because the minute I get alone and quiet, it's like, no, this is exactly where you want to be. And so that's usually when I remove myself. Like when I'm able to get quiet Because once I'm like at peace with the routines leaving, then I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, with a romantic relationship, it's like cause you can feel when something is like not right no more.
Right.
And it's like I be getting to the point where it's like, okay, once I'm okay being alone, like once I just settled that in my brain,
Right.
then I'm good. I'm good to go.
You're good to go.
So yeah.
You said I
Like,
agree
once
with
I
you.
done figured that out, like, all right, do it. I'm about to be alone. Like, once I begin to be okay with that, then it's like, all right, you know,
Okay.
cut them off.
I'm saying way. I'm more of I'm cool with being by myself, but like you said, once it get to that point, it's like, you know what? I'm alright without you. I'm okay. I like my peace. You know.
So, but at what point do you, like, when y'all are already talking about the place of I'm cutting them off, but how do you even get to that point?
I think everybody has their own, I guess, point of when they want to cut them off. I think for me, mine would be more of if I'm being drained, if I feel like we are not on the same path, I guess. If I'm not in alignment with myself no more, and we're not in alignment together, then I think that would be my recognition of, okay, something has to give. Yeah.
Yeah, now for me, it's kind of like the same. So it's like, you know, the way, like it's a gradual process to get to that point. But you know, once I just stop feeling happy within, and it's like, all right, well, you know, first let's figure out what this is. And then like when I'm figuring it out, and it's like, well, dang, like it's only in this space. Maybe I need to remove myself from this space. So I'm not even like blaming the other person or saying like this relationship is bad. It's just, I no longer feel good here in this area. So why am I gonna keep going to this area? And so I start to pull away. But you know, that's the thing that I be always wanting to work on myself though. You know, instead of the pulling away, because it's usually done very quietly and silently, and usually I'm the only one that knows. And for all the reasons that are obvious, that's just not the right way to go. So I really try and communicate better on that, especially because, you know, I told y'all I pride myself on like doing well at communicating. So, you know, to continue to blatantly miss that blind spot, you know, it's working.
Okay.
For me, it's like a feeling. It's like, all right, once I don't feel good about this no more, or like I understand we all got the honeymoon stage, and it's like, you know, everything amazing then, but why can't that be every day? But it's like, but yeah, when I get to that point, it's like it's just a feeling. Like I just don't feel good in this space no more.
So I think this conversation would be totally different with women. Because all the men like, look, when I don't feel it no more, and the women be like, so basically he hard-headed, and I be trying to let him know in so many ways, you know, this ain't how you do this. And I try to work with him. I keep giving them chances and more chances, and I try to change a little bit, and you know, so women is all into it, and men like, yeah, I ain't feeling it.
and that's funny you say that, because I feel like once I don't care about that no more, like the who right and who trying to, like me trying to prove you right, you trying to prove your, once I don't care about that no more, it's done. Cause like I don't even care to prove that I'm right to you anymore, or like, you know, I don't care to play the blame game, or so it's like, you know, it's over.
He said it's over.
Because if you wanted to stay with him, you're gonna be like, nah, but I'm trying to tell you this, and like that's what people do. And like when I don't even care about who right or wrong, then or proving who right or wrong, then,
I think I had one incident as to where it was triggering because I recognized that she was trying to change me into something that she wanted me to be. And I felt like, okay, well, if you're trying to change me into something that you want me to be, that you think is right for me, then why you even deal with me from the beginning? Because you should like me how I was when you first met me, right? I don't think nothing wrong with me. So, and just keep going through that back and forth of like, well, I think you should do this, or I think you look good in this, or I think it's just always trying to impose what you think is right for me. And I may not even see it like that. I may see it totally different. She might recognize that and know that, but yet you still impose that on me. So for me, I remember that was something that sort of made me be like, you know what? You trying to change me into something that I'm not, you know. I'm fine how I am.
And a lot of time with that feeling is when somebody always telling you what you're not doing right or what you could be doing, it's like, oh, I ain't good enough. You know, that's the feeling that comes off. Like, you don't like me as I am, so I'm not good enough.
All right. Oh, I gotta spruce you up a little bit, as they would say.
Put the shine on you.
That's all.
Okay, so now that you all have talked about this from a third dimensional reality,
I only got 30 on this.
let's see if you can try to shift at least to fourth, maybe the fifth, in processing this. So it's so many different ways that you can come at it from a fourth, fifth dimension reality, right? So if you just think of some of the basic sayings that we say, put your mind on what you do, going out on what you don't want. So most of the times when a relationship is starting to go sour, you're looking at everything they're doing wrong. Right? So you're going to get more of that. You're going to attract exactly what you're putting your attention on. Also, if you realize that everything you see outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So if you're looking at the relationship and saying this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, that's just reflecting to you what's going on with inside of you. And it may not be a direct reflection in the sense of, let's say if the person is mean and hateful. That doesn't mean you're mean and hateful. What it could possibly mean is you aren't exercising your power. You don't know who you are. You may be mean and hateful to your own self. You may be saying mean and hateful things to yourself, and you may be looking out into the world seeing a mean and hateful world. Therefore, the person in front of you is now mean and hateful. So that's two things. One is that it's a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you. And to own that. And then two is to put your mind on what you do want, not on what you don't want. So in any relationship, any person, everybody has good qualities, even though who we would consider the worst of people. Everybody has good qualities, so you can put your attention on the good qualities. And so what you put your attention on is going to grow. Also, you want to think about, like, for example, sometimes you can be in a relationship and you can just be miserable, right? So if you're miserable, it's hard to vibrate in a good place because you're giving your attention to what is, right? And when it's just what is just all in your face, sometimes it can be hard to see something different. It's hard to raise your vibration. It's hard to look at the good parts about them. It's hard to remember the good parts of the relationship. It's, it can just be smothering or whatever. And so in those types of situations, then you just have to remember, like, they're not in my head. They can't think for me, right? So there are times, like, for example, when you lay down to go to sleep, you can decide what's in your mind. So at that time, you can start thinking peaceful thoughts, loving thoughts. It don't even have to be about that person, but just to change your own vibration. So you're getting more of however you're feeling, however you're vibrating. So if you are in a not so happy relationship, then you're vibrating in a not so happy way, then the relationship is going to keep getting more and more, or I should say less and less happy. So you want to stop vibrating. You need to change your vibration at all times. You're in control of your vibration. And so a lot of times we look out, we want somebody else to change. We want the condition to change in order for me to be happy. I need you to be like I want you to be so that I can be happy. If you're not how I want you to be, then I can't be happy. And so the whole ideal is when you are in alignment, y'all use that word a lot, when you're in alignment with your higher self, what you see on the outside of you is going to change to match it. So in essence, you don't necessarily have to make the decision to leave. Now don't get me wrong, if you at risk of being harmed or killed or something like that, go ahead and get out and then get in alignment. Right? But if it's something where you're not in harm's way, get yourself in alignment. And then you don't have to decide like, is this a good relationship to be in? Do I need to get rid of it? Because how you're vibrating is what you're going to attract. So either the person is going to change to fit your vibration, or they're going to fade out, and then something else that matches your vibration will come in. So it's all really from a fifth dimension. Is really managing your own vibration, being in a place of, finding ways to be in a place of love, doing a list of all the great things about them. If you can't do that, then when you're quiet, be in a state of peace, be in a state of happiness. Give your attention to, puppies, if that's what makes you happy, or give your attention to something that's good, something that will raise your own vibration, and just practice holding your vibration no matter how the person around you is acting, whether it's your friend, your cousin, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. They shouldn't have to change in order for you to be happy.
Very true. I think my place of happiness, I was just thinking about everything you were just saying, and the biggest thing was knowing yourself, basically, just knowing yourself before you deal with anybody or going into something into a relationship. Because if you don't know yourself, then it's like it's gonna be some type of conflict there. And I ran into that because I've been in relationships as where I thought I knew myself and I ain't know myself. And then I'm creating a problem later on down the road. And the moment that I did find myself, I had peace, I was cool, I was comfortable, I was able to communicate properly with people on that romantic level. So yeah, I was liking what you just said about that.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think we were talking about it recently. We were like, wherever you go, there you are. Because a lot of people have the same relationship over and over again. So they breaking up for the exact same reason. They like, are all men blank or why are all women blank? You have the same issue every single time because wherever you go, there you are. And so, but basically, it's almost like you need to tell these people, thank you for reflecting me to me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, yet another opportunity to try to move to a place of peace in this area of my life. Like I say, it's a reflection of who you are, and maybe what things you still, I guess, are holding hostage within your own self.
Thank you.
That's
all I got.
I want to hear what's in Rodney's mind, because I think I
I'm just thinking, reflecting on some things on what you said. Yeah.
So it's just a shift And you know, it's much easier. It's an easier shift than, okay, now I got to think about, you know, all my shortcomings and, you know, and then all their shortcomings. And then we got to figure out how to bring these two different sets of things into one household or, you know, maybe not a household, but into one relationship or whatever. He think like this, I think like this. His hurts are on his shoulder and he's carrying his, you know what I'm saying? He got these bags and I got these bags of suitcases and, you know.
You say it like me, yo. You read my whole mind. I used to think just like that. Just like that.
And it's just so much easier to really give your attention to yourself and being aligned. That's more important than trying to align with someone else. And I don't know if I can answer this question at this time, but I think Rodney would ask me this. But one thing that I always say is I don't believe in compromise. Like people always are like, you got bring two people together, they have to compromise in a relationship. And I'm like, I don't believe in compromise at all. At all. I want what I want, and I want the other person to have exactly what they want. And so it's like, well, how does that work exactly?
I agree with you.
It works for me. It works perfectly. But I think it goes back to like a lot of stuff we don't have to figure it out. Like things are hard because we're trying to figure things out. We're trying to control things, but we don't have to do that. All we have to do is be in alignment, radiate love, joy, appreciation. And then you'll attract those things, and things just work out. And I always say, I know it sounds magical, but that's how it works. I got a feeling we're going to come back to this topic another couple of months.
Like, oh, man, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'll go practice a little bit and see how it goes. But I enjoy talking to us with you guys. I want to have the same conversation with some women.
Some women guests.
Say that again.
Some women guests.
Yeah. But thank y'all for having this conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us. And hopefully you've taken some nuggets that you will at least try on over the next couple of weeks. So we look forward to talking to you next week. And until then, this is Arvette.
And this is Steve.
Teron.
Rodney.
Bye, y'all.